What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, if you're a new friend, my name is Devontae Kelly, and I am a teacher in the Middle Tennessee area. And if you watched my last video, you'll know that today is all about sub plans. So I'm going to be showing you what my sub binder looks like. I'm going to show you what type of plans I leave behind for a sub, and all that jazz. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, so before I show you what my sub binder looks like, I do want to show you where I got mine from. So if you know Michelle Foray from Pocket Full of Primary, I love watching her on YouTube. I like looking at things that are in her Teacher to Pay Teacher store. A lot of her stuff is geared towards the older grades, so there's not a lot that's applicable to me as far as content. But when looking at templates and things like that, she is one of my go-to people when I need something that is going to look good to me. I love the aesthetic that she has in her things. It's clean, it's crisp. I don't have to worry about it being too girly or anything like that. I've gotten nothing but compliments from every single substitute that I've had. They loved how organized it is. It has all the information in there. There is a couple of things that I've added to just to help with me, and there's also a couple of things that I've taken away. We know that there's not a one size fit all type of thing. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. So when looking at my sub binder, this is the cover that I printed out to put on the front of my binder. Like I said, it's crisp, it's clean. You can clearly tell what it is. Here's the cover page. When you first open it, here's the very first page. It's just the introduction. It's just a letter to the sub, just thanking them for coming in today. That I hope they have a great day and they enjoy my class. I tell them the things that they'll find inside of here: school schedule, class list, procedures, helpful staff, anything that you need. It's going to be in this binder. I also, in this binder, keep all of my clinic passes. So if a child is sick, I keep those in there as well. And then I'll just ask at the bottom before they leave, just fill out one of the sub-report papers. That'll be towards the end. I can show you what that looks like. Moving into the next, the very first thing I put is contact information. If you have any problems or if you need a specific person, these are the people that you can go to, or these are the people that you might need, and here are the room numbers that you can find them in. So I'll talk about how to use the phone. Beside my phone, there's a teacher list, or there's a school list of every worker in the room, what their phone number is, and what room they're in. So I just kind of talk about how she can use that. I give her all my team teachers. So I give them the people that work down the hall with them. I tell them their name and what room they're in. People that they might need to know in the front office, like our attendance secretary, our bookkeeper, our front office aide, the nurse, SR officer, all of that. I have our special area teachers and where to find them, what room they're in, and then some other people. So I have people like our interventionist, our ELL teacher, our resource teacher, speech teacher, people who might pull out kids and people who might push into the room to help kids with on grade level things. So I love having this in here because I do have people that push in and pull kids out in my room, and this is an easy way to know who this person is and why they'll be in the room or why they're pulling a child out. Next up, we have our class schedule because that is very important. Next up is a class roster. So this serves multiple purposes. Inside of my binder, I have a plethora of these. I print at least 20 just so that way I have lots of extras. I know that I'll never be out of school for 20 days unless it's like something very catastrophic and unexpected. But I do keep a lot in there just so that way they can use it to take attendance and then they can send that to the office. But I also want them to have one so they can always have a list of names of who's in our class. So on the top, I'll tell them how to take attendance, and on the bottom is the class roster of all the kids in the room. After that is my seating chart. So I put an actual visual of our classroom, If you watch my class tour video, you can see how it's set up in the different sections. So this is how my room looks if you're standing from the front of the room. So you have the front of the room here. Right in the front of the room is our carpet area. This is actually a table. Behind it is my actual table with the student names in it. I just type their names in each box just to show where they sit. And then the same for this too. This is how my tables are arranged in my room. And then I just put a text box and just put their name and where they sit. And it's super easy to edit if I ever move a kid, or like I'm about to do now, if I'm moving every kid in the class. It's super easy for me to just click on their name and just move them out of the way because it is a text box. It moves freely throughout the document. And so it's easy to change kids' seating places if I need to. Next up is our line order. So I have a line order that my kids know automatically. We've practiced all the first week of school. They can do it on their own. I don't have to worry about who's not in line or anything like that. But I do want to give that to the sub just so that way, if there are any rascals that want to try it, the sub knows where they're supposed to be in line. So we have our line leader of the day. That's going to be whoever our line leader is. They'll get out of that spot, and that's where they'll be in the very front. But everybody else will stay in their spot. So I have that up there for the sub. So the next page is the student info sheet. It just gives her information about who are some helpful students. I do tell her everybody can be a helpful student, but here are friends who are always following expectations. So I have a list of kids for that. Next up, kids who have any allergies. I also tell her where she can find my allergy paper in my room, or he. And then any special needs. That might be IEPs, that might be giftedness, that might be strugglers, that might be friends that have behavior issues, or if they need extra support in any type of way, I'll put in that special needs box. After that, I focus on student behavior. So I have our classroom rules. They're super simple. They're the exact same as our school rules. So after that, I give some different management strategies as well as some rewards and consequences. And then after that, I get into all the different procedures that we have in our room. So I go over how we arrive in the morning, how we do dismissal at the end of the day, and where kids go for that, what to do for lunch, what to do for snack, what to do if we have to have an indoor recess, and what to do if we have an outdoor recess. This is super important because, especially if it's too hot or too cold, they can't go outside. So I want to list what options she has inside the room. And then when we do our outdoor recess, we have multiple playgrounds that we go to. And my grade level, because we have so many on our grade, we do a rotation for the playgrounds. And so I kind of tell in my notes what that rotation is, where she can find our recess map, where she can figure out where we are in each day. I also list it in my regular sub plans, but I do put them in both spots just so that way my bases are covered. If she looks in the binder, it tells her where it is. If she looks in the lesson plan, she knows where it is too. After that is emergency information. I put the same thing for everything. In the event of a drilling emergency, grab my emergency clipboard. I tell her where she can find that. After that, I talk about how to use technology. So first, it's for the kids, how to log in their Chromebooks, step-by-step directions for that, and then directions for the teacher on how to use our Promethean board in the room. So I put the little icon for the app that we use for our lesson plans to go along throughout our day. And then I also put some little tips here on what each button means on here and how to use those buttons. And then here at the very end, this is my sub report. So I always leave one out for the sub to do. I always ask for subs to fill that out. I've never had a sub report that was below a 4. So I'm always thankful for that. That lets me know that my classroom management is doing what it needs to do. And then once you get to this page in my sub binder, that's all I have in there. Everything else that the sub will need to know as far as lesson plans or anything like that, that is what I will put in my actual lesson plans for that specific day. And I'll have that laid out with this binder so that way everything is in one place. And just in case if you're wondering what my actual sub plans look like, I pulled one from last year just to kind of show you how it's set up. So looking at my sub plans at the top, I just have my title, the date, and then again, just a quick note, thanks for sending my class today. Underneath that, I kind of give some helpful friends and then anything that they need to know about any students in our class. I kind of have it set up like a table, so I just go into Google Docs and just put a table in, and I just add a whole bunch of boxes, and then I'll just label them. So as you see at the top right here, it's our arrival and breakfast time, and then right underneath that, I'll list our procedures for that and what needs to happen during that time. After that, we have our morning meeting, and then apparently on that day we went to our STEAM lab, so we did not have ELA that day. But it kind of again explains what's going on. I tell who our line leader is for that day, how to get to that lab, and then what will be happening in that lab that day. When they come back, we'll get into our skills block. So I kind of tell what our focus is. It's slide Y. I give a quick briefing on what slide Y is. I give a list of things that will be happening on the slides that we have up. And then they took an assessment that day. And then here are the words that they had. After that is our intervention time. So at the top, I list who's getting pulled out during that time and then what our rotations are for that day. When that intervention time is over, it's time for our phonological awareness with Hegarty. I give the procedures for that. And on that day, I use a video. Then lunch and bathroom, procedures for that. After that, we went into our math. They're working on team numbers. So they're reviewing the skill. They're answering that. And then they're taking a math quiz. Apparently this is a Friday because that's the only time I do quizzes. And then after that, they can go to iReady Math. I tell them where special area is, who the teacher is, what the room number is. And when they come back from special area, it's time for recess and snack. So again, I tell where we are for recess. If kids grab their snack, they can. And where to get our recess tubs, our recess toys, excuse me. After that, we have our STEAM. That is on our voting unit. So they have some slides they need to follow. Then they do a quick voting activity at the end. And then it's time to pack up. So I tell them my procedures for packing up. And then at the bottom, I list exactly where each child will be going home on that day. So that way there are no questions about it. And then what that sub's procedures will be for dismissal. And that's how I write my sub plans.
All right, guys. So that's how I plan for my subs. I have their sub binder, which has general information that they need to know about the class, and then I have just a quick set of sub plans that gets them through the day. That does again work in conjunction with our flip charts that we use as a grade level. So there's really not much of a plan that we're having to do just because we're continuing on with our learning throughout the day, even though I'm not here. And our flip charts that are on the screen help a bunch with helping the subs stay on track and knowing exactly what they need to go through. I've gotten so many compliments about how well run the classroom is. I've gotten so many compliments about how the plans that we leave, the flip charts that are on the screen, how that really helped throughout the day. There's really no second guessing on what to do because you can visually see it. You can read it in the plans, you can read it on the screen and know exactly what needs to be done. And that makes me feel good because at the end of the day, number one, the sub is confident in what they're doing. Number two, because the sub is confident in what they're doing, they can manage the class better. And number three, my kids aren't losing a day of instruction because I'm not here. So wins, wins, wins across the board. I love it. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, please put it in the comments. I have no problem answering those for you. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.